586, midway the page. This is after, I guess you to be faster to find your own name, after you say that is correct. Then Mr. Ngola puts the question, there is an allegation. And then that's immediately followed by your response, and then you reference other criminal matters within the IDEX space. And you conclude, while we're at it, with the words, there is also no witch hunt against Lieutenant General Kumalo because there were no matters brought to IDEC prior to the referral by Mr. Adams. That's the... That's the part I'm reading. And I can very well perhaps appreciate the position you were in at the time you responded. Mine is slightly different. Do you still maintain the position after our 1.5 days of engaging with specifically decisions by IDEC targeting, no, wrong word, aimed at least 2 of these generals and the PKTT? Can you still say the narrative is baseless?
Chair, the response I have is, at no stage did any of these cases start on the basis of wanting to target any individual, even those that I mentioned. We dealt with the investigations. In the course of these 2 days of engagements, and in the manner in which we have engaged, we would have to accept that we could have done things differently and or could have done things better. But that does not in itself make it a witch hunt or a target. They were not targeted at all. I accept that process is criticized. The manner in which things were done were criticized. I accept that criticism, Chair. And what I'm saying is that shortcoming does not make a targeting. It does not make it a witch hunt. It does not of itself say, we did it this way just to get to them. In the manner that these matters were presented, it is clear, and from the lengthy debates that poor Chair has had to have with me in getting us to understand our logic versus that logic, it is clear that we worked on what we had, interpreted the law as we have. There is a difference of opinion, and that difference of opinion, Council, highlights that things look the way they do and should have been done differently.
We dealt with your, one of the many Section 28 summonses.
Are you leaving this page?
No, I'm coming back to it.
Okay, thank you.
And at 3361 file 9, and we dealt with that quite extensively yesterday. I'm at 3363. Where, following Mr. Adams's complaint, in whatever terms it was expressed, you signed off on a summons that asked for a litany of documents that had no bearing on the complaint, including a list of all provincial heads and section heads who were stationed in Division Crime Intelligence, the performance assessment of all major generals for that year, the advertisements for that position, audio recordings and interviews. Then you want documentary records that General Jacobs refused to return. We have established that all those factors bear no relevance to the complaint. And I think we settled that yesterday.
We have.
We have. Then you ask, in the same summons, for documentary files and applications for promotions and commanders and members of the political task teams through deviation. According to you, the PKTT did not feature anywhere. So once again, that is way beyond the scope of the original complaint by Mr. Adams. You recall?
I recall.
We then went to page 3531, which is annexure, you don't have to go there, annexure 397. That is the section 28, summons signed by Advocate Manilao, which wanted the identities and certified travel documents of PKTT members who went to arrest Mr. Adams. And he does so under the cast number relating to the Mukwele appointment. You could not explain that section 28, and I think we landed at a place where you said it ought not to have happened. Correct?
Correct.
In light of at least the three that I have named, logic dictates that it was a concerted effort to either discredit or somehow prejudice them. How can you sit there and you say the narrative is entirely wrong? And how do you suggest that it's just a difference of opinion? It's not. The facts, at least, are on the side of the narrative. What facts do you put forth to countenance that?
If you grant me an opportunity
Absolutely.
just to answer on why, because I had to ask the question, because I wasn't aware of this, Commissioner Baloy. I did ask Advocate Manilal why this section 28 went out, and I give you the explanation as follows. Part of the bail conditions in that matter was that the accused, which at the time would have included Lieutenant General Kumalo, were not to have any contact, interfere with, and or intimidate state witnesses, one of which was Adams. It is seen on television that there is a group of persons that have gone ahead to arrest Mr. Adams. That arrest has nothing to do with us. It is the police must carry on and do their work. There were reports that it is PKTT members who went to effect the arrest. It is now at this stage not a secret that the coordinator of the PKTT is Lieutenant General Kumalo. And the purpose behind it from the prosecutor was to determine whether someone else within the PKTT approved those trips. That is fine. And that if it was in fact General Kumalo who authorized those trips, then he was sending people to deal with Adams, and it could have a potential of interfering with the bail condition. It was asked on that basis. What subsequently happened is Mr. Adams appeared in court. The charges are read, and Mr. Adams has a way of how he expresses himself in public, and the prosecutors decided, the approval notwithstanding, can we just stand back and let them continue with their work? It was
Advocate Johnson, I want to say if that's the explanation he gave you, it's a false explanation. Those individual members and anyone else in the world was under no bail condition that they could not, that's one reason, that they could not deal with any witnesses. There was nothing like that. If indeed the issue was to determine whether General Kumalo breached a bail condition, it was simply, and I'm sure Advocate Manilal knows that, you know that, it was simply a matter of asking General Kumalo, did you authorize an arrest of Mr. Adams? It's as simple as that. So if he gave you that explanation, it's false. He's not telling you the truth about why those questions, because that doesn't answer who went there, what are the names, give us the flight details. It doesn't answer the question whether there was a breach by General Kumalo of his bail condition. So no, I'm sorry, if you believe him, then something is wrong in this scheme of things. You should have, as soon as he said it, you should have seen it on his face, but that cannot be, it doesn't make sense. That you would go that way to try and determine that General Kumalo, whether or not General Kumalo has breached his bail condition. It's a false explanation.
So, Commissioner Balwe, I hear you. I'm conveying the reason that was given. But Commissioners Wood and Chair, you would remember my answer yesterday. I did say that if, in the manner that this process was used and what was requested by asking about PKTT, then it is an abuse of the process. I did stand by that, and I did indicate that there would have been a better way for us to have engaged and to find out what had gone on. I'm not differing from my point. I don't retract my point. I just wanted to merely give clarity on, because I had to ask. I didn't know.
My hope is you saw through that explanation. And that's what I would have hoped you would say, that this is what he says, but I have a problem with his explanation.
That is why I stand by the proposal I made yesterday. I can't deviate from that proposal.
Yes, thank you.
And the problem is, in all that we have dealt with, particularly that arrest of Mr. Adams, it doesn't seem like anyone bothered to establish why he was being arrested. Had he committed, is he a suspect in a particular crime? How it comes across is because he was a complainant in some matter against inter alia General Kumalo, who happens to be the head of PKTT, a beggar subunit, that therefore Mr. Adams is somehow insulated from action by the PKTT, even where the PKTT has evidence of wrongdoing. That's the effect of it. So you brandishing that condition over General Kumalo to say, whatever wrong he commits, you dare not touch him because he's my witness, and if you do, you'll be breaching a bail condition. That's quite a bridge.
Of course it doesn't make sense, because what I did do in that engagement, I asked
Please continue.
I asked this morning, if in fact, heaven forbid, but if in fact Mr. Adams committed what one would consider a political killing, what would we have asked? Why would we have asked? Because they would still have had to do their work. So it all comes down to the same thing. If they had a job to do, they should have been allowed to do the job.
Yes. Now, this is important, again, once again, going to the narrative, because what appears, at least at first blush to me, is IDEC seemed to have this gunshot approach to everything. That gunshot approach has got serious unintended consequences.
Perhaps more appropriately, shotgun, not just any gun.
A shotgun approach. It's got serious consequences. Let's go to General Mato's referral, which we have agreed is wholly non-compliant with Section 27, which, based on our conversation over the past 2 days, did not trigger the mandate of IDEC. But we are where SAPS seem to have concluded an unlawful contract with Mr. Madlanga. But the prosecution for that sits on a highly questionable legal basis. Do you see the consequences? Because if the investigation is unlawful, the question must arise, what effect does that have on the prosecution? Ongoing prosecution. Instead, had IDEC opted, in light of General Matala's affidavit, General Matlo, the Sotho names. Oh, I do apologize. I apologize to both General Matlo and Mr. Matala.
No, I think the second name is Matlala. And that's
Yes, I was going to say that, Commissioner Baloy. I saw the words charity, Matlala, Matlo.
Thank you. Thank you. No, she intended to say Matlo, Commissioner Baloy. Thank you, General Kumalo. My eye must have fallen on that. Thank you. Thank you. No, she intended to say Matlo, Commissioner Baloy. Thank you, General Kumalo. My eye must have fallen on that. My apologies for that.
Now you've called him General Kumalo.
Okay, it's time for a break. Commissioner, I'll leave it there. The point I seek to make with you, Advocate Johnson, is that this affidavit ought to have at least triggered a conversation between yourself as head of IDEC and General Masemola, who at this juncture is not even a suspect in any wrongdoing, to alert him to the fact that there is a contract in your environment that there is reason to believe is tainted with illegality, and I expect you to take steps. The point I made that a faulty Section 27 may affect subsequent prosecution. You remember the fruit of a poison tree notion we discussed. And that's your challenge as IDEC. But if SAPS had run with the matter, they would never have this challenge. So because of the approach that IDEC has adopted, that running roughshod over everything, there is a serious risk, and I put it no higher than that it may have placed in jeopardy the very prosecution that is currently being pursued. Do you have a comment?
My comment, and again, you'll tell me, but it's not here, so my comment is that 27 was read, as I understood it this morning, with the preliminary report, which sets out a more factual basis that links the different people and perhaps sets out the offenses. It might be better if, so I see, sorry, Chair, I'm not being cheeky. I see from the time that my wish to finish by tea time might not happen. And so I'm tired. But so I'm thinking then that if we're going to have to take tea and we're going to now have to finish by lunch, that I would have to ask if we could just get them to send us this preliminary report, because I cannot agree to that contention. I'm giving you what I have, that there was a basis for it. This 27 is not even open for a debate about the discussion we want to have, but I am unable to reconcile that they had nothing. There was a preliminary report that went with the affidavit. For me to agree to a contention in the absence thereof is highly irresponsible, and one that I'm not prepared to do to future that in all likelihood has a sound legal and factual basis. And that is where I wanted to take the point. And then I'll take my cue from the chair about what we're doing for the rest of the day.